The U.S. men's national team and Iran will clash in the 2022 World Cup for the last round of the group stage in Group B. And for the United States, it's win or go home. Hi, I'm here, Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to the Ultimate Pro Max Super Plus United States versus Iran match preview. Here's how it's going to go. First, we're going to tell you where and when to watch the game, along with past matches between the two nations. Then we're going to go through the U.S. men's national team news and updates, plus the projected starting 11 for Greg Berhalter. Then I will bring in Arya from GROUPSTAGE to break down what to expect from Iran and his predictions for this match. He's an expert in the national team, and the link to his channel is on the description. Plus, GROUPSTAGE is trying to hit 1,000 subscribers very soon in the World Cup. If they do by Tuesday, and this video hits 1,000 likes as well, the U.S. men's national team will defeat Iran. You control the fate of our national team. Yes, you do. I mean, technically, a lot of it is on Greg, but I trust you more than Greg Berhalter. So let's just pretend that the amount of likes this video gets plays a role. And this video is brought to you by Jimmy John's, but more on that later. While you watch the episode, I'm going to go enjoy the sandwich, all right? The promo codes are on the description. You may use it if you'd like to. So let's begin. The U.S. men's national team is set to face Iran this Tuesday, November 29th for the World Cup Group Stage third round, which is also the last round of the group stage, and it could be the last game for the U.S. men's national team or Iran in the 2022 World Cup. Kickoff is set to take place at the Al Thumama Stadium, which kind of sounds like I just said to mama, but we ain't talking about yo mama. The match will start at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and we will be doing a live watch along here on the channel, of course. If you'd like it, you may join. It's lots of fun, as long as the United States wins, of course. Otherwise, it's just frustrating. The United States and Iran have faced each other twice in history. The first time being in the 1998 World Cup, where we actually lost 2-1 to the Iran national team. Then in 2000, we had a friendly that ended 1-1. So in two matches, the United States has never beat Iran in men's soccer. Of course, that is irrelevant right now for this specific match. And look, there's a first time for everything. Believe. Now let's go through any U.S. men's national team news or updates for this specific match, and then the projected starting 11. No one is suspended or injured for this specific match for the United States. At least nothing has been reported so far at the time of this recording. But Tim Ream, Weston McKennie, Serginho Dest, and Kellen Acosta are all on a yellow. And they would miss the round of 16 match if the United States were to advance. And the yellow cards do carry on to the next round. So if they're not suspended now, they could get suspended in the round of 16 for the quarterfinals if we make it that far. And I know some of you don't believe we'll make it that far, but I kind of have to make that point, right? Because you never know, we could. Now it's time for your projected starting lineup for the U.S. men's national team, brought to you by Jimmy John's. All right, don't forget to use the promo codes on the description. In the process, you'll be helping the channel, and you won't stay hungry during the game. And Jimmy John's is also the official sandwich of Tactical Manager TV during the 2022 World Cup. So for the projected starting 11, I expect Greg to go with a 4-3-3 formation most likely. I don't see many changes also. Overall, the team has played well. We do have problems. We'll talk about that when I go through the starting 11. But we've played well overall. We outplayed England, and we did outplay Wales for at least 45 minutes. So I think Greg will more or less repeat the same lineup with minor changes. So let's go through that. So on goal, it's going to be Matt Turner. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, the right back position, I expect it to be Serginho Dest, and on the left, A-Rob. I don't see why any of that would change unless they're injured. The two center backs, also Tim Ream and Walker Zimmerman. My only issue with the two center backs right now, it's not really defensive work. Tim Ream and Walker Zimmerman have been good for most of the time in terms of defending, but on the ball, it has to be just Tim Ream. Walker Zimmerman is not a ball-playing defender. If the ball's in his feet, he needs to just boot it forward. Tim Ream has to be responsible for progressing the ball forward, especially in this match that we're going to play against a low block most likely. We'll talk about that very soon. Tim Ream will be key. His distribution will be key. Everything about it, his long passes, his range, that's what we're going to need. The midfield, I expect Greg Berhalter to keep the MMA with Tyler Adams at the 6 and McKennie and Yunus Musa as the two central midfielders. Of course, I would rather have Musa dropping and playing almost like a double pivot with McKennie high up the field, but we'll see what he does. We did see the United States shape against England in a 4-4-2 in the defensive shape, or at times it looked like a 4-2-2-2. but I don't think we're going to see it in this match. I think that was a specific setup to face England that Greg Berhalter probably has been planning for months. The front three, I expect it to be Tim Weah, Pulisic, so Weah on the right, Pulisic on the left, and Jesus Ferreira on the center forward position. And I know we've been struggling to score, and Jesus most likely is not the solution to that, but I think Greg will play him because we're going to be facing a low block so he can drop and try to play make. Now, do I agree with that? Probably not. I think Gio Reyna is the secret to unlock a low block, but I think that's what Greg's going to do. Jesus will finally start in this match. I am 90% certain of that. And look, I said that he's not the solution to scoring goals. I agree that he can't really finish. That doesn't mean he won't score though. Again, believe. In terms of qualifying, the math is simple. We win, we go through. We don't win, we are out. So it's win or go home. And the current situation of Group B is as follows. England currently leads the group with 4 points and a net positive goal scored of 4. Iran is in second place with 3 points and a net negative goal scored of 2. The US men's national team is in third place with 2 points and Wales is in fourth place with 1 point. So technically, all the teams still have a chance to go through. If Wales beats England by 4 goals or more, they will be ahead of England. So Wales, the country, is pretty much out, if we're being completely honest, but they still have a chance. The US and Iran, as I said, it's very simple. If the US wins, they're through. If Iran wins or draws the game, they'll be through, so Iran will be playing for the draw most likely. So the biggest challenge for the US men's national team will be the 2 boogeymans that Greg Berhalter has struggled throughout his 3.5 years in charge of the United States, which one is to win outside of US territory, where we do struggle, and then the other struggle that we've had is to break a low block, which, as I said, I think Gio Reyna would be crucial against a low block. But at this point, who knows if Greg will even play Gio, even give him a couple minutes. Who knows what will happen in regards to that. In this World Cup, we have seen that low blocks are mainly broken with talent and creativity, not tactics, positional play, sometimes not even teamwork. It's talent and creativity from one player that usually has been breaking low blocks. We saw that with Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe in multiple occasions. Thank you, Jimmy Johns. Don't forget to use the promo code on the description if you don't want to stay hungry during the match. Now, let's bring in Arya right now to talk about Iran, what to expect from the US men's national team versus Iran clash from their side, and get his prediction. Then after that, I'm going to give you my final thoughts and my score prediction. All right, so let's talk about Iran. All right, Arya. Big game on Tuesday, United States and Iran. We talked months ago, and we didn't know if it would come down to the last game, if one team would be eliminated or qualified by then, who would need a draw, who would need a win. But we are where we are. Iran needs a draw. The U.S. needs a win. Simple as that. Nothing else to talk about there. First and foremost, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks a lot for bringing me back on your channel. It's a real pleasure. And yeah, man, it's been an interesting World Cup. You know, it's been definitely a bit of a roller coaster for us, having lost the first game, winning the second game. The US are looking really strong, so it's going to be an interesting third game for sure.
Yeah, and I like that you brought the roller coaster ride, because we've been the complete opposite of a roller coaster ride. We've been like very slow.
Yeah,
and steady.
yeah, smooth sailors. Yeah.
So what happened? That's what I wanted to ask you, because there was the first game against England, and Iran didn't look like themselves. It looked horrible. I think if they play England are always going to be the favorites. But it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be 6-2. And then you go to the second game against a Welsh side that can very well give trouble to England, maybe pull a draw. And you guys outplayed them throughout the game. That has to be said. I thought Iran was better against Wales, and you got the late 2-0 win. So tell me what changed from one game to another right there.
Well, I think it's not easy to speak about the Iran national team without speaking about the politics that's going on with it, you know, with what's going on outside of the pitch in the country. That was definitely playing on the players' minds. There's a lot of pressure on the players from the government, from the fans, from people in the country who want them to show solidarity for what's going on in the country. So they did that. I mean, I think you might have seen before the England game, they didn't sing the national anthem. They wore black wristbands before the match started. For this game, they didn't. For whatever reason, maybe they were told not to by the government. We don't know the full extent of it, but whatever it was, it seemed to allow them to play with a a freer mind against Wales. They were not. I mean, against England, they were just not there. I mean, mentally, you could see that they were not ready to compete at the highest level, and England took advantage of that. You know, as soon as that injury to Beiran Van happened, the goalkeeper in the first game, I think as soon as that happened, the players kind of lost their composure. England just looked too good. They looked just far too good, and it made Iran look like amateurs really in the first kind of first half, and then the second half was just a breeze for them. Of course, we scored 2 goals, but it wasn't much to do. And then against Wales, I think again, as I said, I think Carlos Queiroz has to take some credit here. He must have taken his players in and said, you know, we have to play the game. We need to focus on our football, and I think they did that against Wales. They did that. Carlos Queiroz again takes a lot of praise here, because I think it would have been quite hard to go to that game and attack against a Wales team who is a strong team. They have good players. Gareth Bale didn't perform well, but he's always a danger. Mm-hmm. You know, we saw it against the US. So it's not going to be an easy game, but I think the players performed really well against Wales.
Now, my question to you is this: tactically, did he change anything from England to Wales? I know Azmoun didn't start the first game due to fitness, I believe, but he did play the second. Did he start? He started against Wales, Azmoun.
Yeah.
Did anything change tactically that you noticed, or it was more of a mentality problem the first game?
Yeah, I think as I said, England's a top team. You know, they're gonna be.
I don't think so.
Well, they're better than Iran.
No, I'm joking. No, they are. But I'm just saying that against the US, they looked like the lesser team, surprisingly.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's down to Gareth Southgate. I think he actually didn't take enough chances in that game. Didn't bring on Phil Foden. Didn't really take any. But I think again, Carlos Queiroz was always going to play defensive against England, right? I mean, Carlos Queiroz is known for his defensive tactics. You might have seen it in the 2018 World Cup when we played against Portugal and Spain. Very defensive against Argentina in 2014. If you even watched his games under the charge of Egypt in the African Cup of Nations, he was also very defensive minded. So he's always going to play that way against England. When it came to the Wales game, I think Iran couldn't really afford to defend for 90 minutes and be, you know, parking the bus and all these kind of things. They had to be on the front foot, putting pressure on the defense of Wales and being aggressive and trying to win the ball back early, which they've done. And I think we can do that as well. You know, we showed it in our game against Uruguay just before the World Cup. Had a friendly match in Vienna, in Austria, and we played really well. We beat them 1-0 against a very strong Uruguay team, and I think we can be that aggressive, forward-thinking team. Which we showed, I think hopefully we can take that game and put it into the USA game. But I think it's going to be a lot harder because the US team is not the Welsh team. The Welsh team are not as quick and as aggressive as the US team. So I think it's going to be quite hard to apply that. But we'll see how it goes. So
my question to that goes: you told me that you expected Iran to put out essentially the same lineup they put out against Wales. So that's what we should be expecting. So how do you think Iran will position themselves against the U.S.? Because you talked about how you're worried a bit about how the U.S. is aggressive, the U.S. can press, the U.S. will attack, and we have been attacking. But we also don't create a lot of opportunities, the United States. We really don't. Despite having the ball a lot, we're not a team that creates a lot of chances for our players. And in CONCACAF, we struggled playing against very defensive teams because we couldn't break the low block, and we struggle away. So we're going to have to beat those two boogeymans right there, playing away, right? Playing outside of U.S. territory and against possibly a low block. That's my question to you. Do you think Iran, because you guys can play for the draw, you're through with the draw likely, do you think Iran's going to set up a low block, be very defensive, or attack like you need a win?
Well, the thing is, as you said, the US team don't have a real number 9. I mean, they don't have a goal scorer that's going to be. I mean, they scored 1 goal so far, if I'm not mistaken. So they're not going to be scoring a ton of goals. I don't think. Maybe they might all of a sudden do that, but I don't think they are. If you look at it on paper, so Iran can afford to be a little bit more adventurous potentially, but because of the meaning of this game for Iran is to get to the second round. A draw would be enough. And Carlos Queiroz, knowing him as a coach, he's not going to go for the win when he can get a draw. He's not going to do that. So I think we can expect Iran to be a little bit more defensive in this game compared to the way we were against Wales. Because even so, even as I said, maybe they don't have a striker, but they still got guys like Pulisic and Weah who look very dangerous. Can create chances. And I think if Iran are making little mistakes, it's the third game in the group. They could be tired, so mistakes can happen. But you did mention Sardar Osman, and I think he got an injury against Wales, so maybe he doesn't start. But I think ultimately the lineup will be the same. But one key for Iran in this US game is our striker Taremi, playing for Porto. I think the US, probably the biggest weakness for them is their defense. Their centre backs aren't to the standard they probably want them to be. That's just I think it's a fair point there. I
think defending, they are good. Like we saw it against England, right? They held their own. Walker Zimmerman on the ball, I think he is being very nice about it. He's bad. Being honest, he's horrible.
Yeah.
But Tim Ream is still a center back that plays in the Premier League and holds his own. I think the defense is fine. Matt Turner's a good goalkeeper. I think the fullbacks can be shaky on defense. I agree with that. Like A-Rob and Dest on defense is definitely something very exploitable for the US against the US.
And the role that Taremi plays for the Iran team, especially if Osman does start, is on the left wing. Normally comes in off the left wing. I think that's a position where potentially Dest and Zimmerman have to kind of be on their P's and Q's and very careful of. So I think there are opportunities for Iran to score goals in this game. But we shall see how it goes. I think it's going to be an interesting one.
You know what worries me? Taremi, which I don't know if many people know this. You talked about this in the past, and I've noticed with Porto, he is a specialist at drawing fouls and PKs. And that play that Gareth Bale drew a PK on Zimmerman for Wales to tie against the US, it's something that if you allow Taremi to have the ball in the box, he'll do that to you. He'll give you the body. He'll draw a PK. He does that a lot for Porto. So I do think that's something the US would have to be concerned. Do you agree with me?
Well, yeah. I mean, and if you saw the game against Wales, he got the foul on Wayne Hennessy, the goalkeeper. He got the red card. And you can see he kind of put himself in a position where, it makes it more likely that he gets the red card. So, yeah, Taremi is a fantastic player. He's a top talent. He's got everything you really want from a player. He can create goals. He can score goals. He can win penalties. He works really hard. And I think he's going to be a danger up front. It's just, can he get the service? Because he didn't get the service against England. When he plays alongside Osman, he plays better. When he doesn't play with Osman, it becomes a bit harder because he doesn't have that kind of partner to kind of play off of. So we'll see. I think it's still going to be an interesting game.
Now, last but not least, there's two quick things that I want to get from you here. You talked about Osman having some fitness concerns, right? He should be available, but not 100%. Outside of Osman, which he's going to be iffy, is there any other key player that is missing or injured?
No, there were two other injuries in that game against Wales. Saeed Izzatullahi, the number 6 in the team, he got a bit of an injury. I don't know if if it was just cramp. It probably was. I don't think it was anything serious. And the other one was Ahmad Nurullahi, who also got a bit of cramp towards the end of the game. And I don't think it's too serious. I think everyone's pretty much going to be the same as the Wales game, if a couple of changes. But I don't think there's going to be too many big drastic changes for this game against the US.
Okay. And I want to get your score prediction for the game. But before I get to that, is there any concern? Because Iran looked very shaky against England in set pieces, right? But overall, Iran looked shaky everywhere in that game. And then against Wales, didn't look shaky. Are you concerned about... So the United States, in terms of delivering set pieces, we haven't been the best. But we still have players like McKennie that's scoring the Champions League all the time on set pieces. Walker Zimmerman is dangerous on set pieces. And many other players that we can have there. Tim Ream can be a danger. Is there any concern from your side in regards to that? Or Iran can hold their own?
Yeah, potentially. We didn't do great at set pieces against England. But we have quite tall players. I think against England, they just looked really sluggish. They just didn't seem to have a lot of fight in them. I'm hoping that doesn't be the case, but it could happen. You know, it could happen that the US are more aggressive and get to the ball first. But I think these are things that are impossible to predict right now. You know, I mean, it's impossible because, you know, in the game anything can happen. You know, a foul can happen in the box and a penalty is given. So just need to kind of wait and see. I think even similarly for the US. Could be the exact same thing. Iran have tall defenders. They can score goals as well from set pieces. So I think it's going to be one of those games where it's hard to predict. It's going to be very hard to predict. I think it's going to come down to very fine details, and it could be a set piece, as you say.
So what's your prediction?
I'm going to say a draw, a tie.
With goals? With goals?
Yeah, I think a 1-1 tie is very likely. I think the reason why I say it is because I feel like Iran will be very defensive in this game. I can see Carlos Queiroz playing that kind of defensive football and not letting any space for the midfielders of the US to work with. But I still think that US have enough quality and pace and guile to score a goal. I don't think they'll score more than one, but we'll see. We'll see. I think if they score more than one, I think it comes from mistakes and, as I said, fatigue. Considering it's a third game, I think Iran could fatigue at some point in the game. That's maybe when goals can start coming. But I think Iran also have a goal in them. I think Taremi, given a chance, maybe, as you said, winning a penalty, can score in this game. But I don't see it being a high-scoring game.
Arya, thank you very much for coming along. I wish you... No, I don't wish you luck. I can't wish... No, I would wish you luck.
I wish Brazil luck, because I'm a big Brazil fan. You can see the Ronaldo picture up there.
Thank you for that. So you're wishing me half luck, but against the US, you're not wishing me luck. I'm not wishing you luck. May the best one win, or may the best one go through. Fingers crossed that it's the United States. We believe that we can go through. But look, we'll talk after. Thank you very much once again. And guys, go check out Go Bazan. Remember, they have to hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. Okay, now time for my final thoughts, expectations, and prediction. And boy, am I nervous, because this could be it. The World Cup could be over for us right here, right now. Well, not here right now, at the game on Tuesday. Or we can go through and maybe do something special. I mean, we've outplayed England, so why can't we? Yeah, maybe because of Greg Berhalter, but you get what I'm saying. But what are my expectations for this specific match? Look, I expect a low-scoring match. Just going to be honest with you. It's going to be a grind regardless of who wins and regardless of who goes through. We will have to break a low block, which we struggle. Azmoun won't be fully fit for Iran, which hurts their offense more than ever, and it hurts also Taremi's performance. It's going to be United States 1, Iran 0. That is my prediction. And let me know yours. What's your prediction for United States and Iran? That's what I'm expecting. A 1-0 win, and the United States will go through. I believe in our boys, right? Despite our coach, I think we have enough talent to pull this one through. We will find a way. We always do, don't we? Sorta, kinda. Don't forget to smash that like button before you go, so we try to hit 1,000 likes. Thank you, Jimmy Johns, for sponsoring this match preview. And remember, boys and girls, believe. Thank you for watching. See you guys on Tuesday, and have a great day.